Fanatics. Hey y'all. It's finally here. I mean, you guys figured out who it is by now, and of course by the title, and that it's the only one left. So it's of course the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's probably going to be almost every year that Mahomes and Reid are there, and it sucks because it's boring. And I was really close to having the Steelers as this pick to be number one. I still am picking the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl because I think that they just have the all-around great pass rush that you need to beat a great quarterback. Tom Brady lost a lot to big pass rushes. It's just really, if you don't have time and you play an elite defense, it's just really, really, really tough to win. But that might change in the next couple of days because, man, it's just so hard to bet against Mahomes and Reid. Like last year was a rebuilding year. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rookies start for them in the Super Bowl and won. They had a 7th round running back rookie have a big role in the Super Bowl. And they're just so good. They're so good. So I mean, this is basically just me saying how good the Chiefs are, which I mean everybody already knows. So it's almost not interesting. And I spent like hours just trying to figure out what I was going to talk about because everything I would say, everyone already knows. So it's nothing. I'm not even looking too deep into everything except just like telling everyone how amazing it is that this team won last year. Like they were not supposed to win last year. Last year was a rebuilding year. And they won. They won with Juju Smith-Schuster as their leading receiver, and he hasn't been good since his first year with Roethlisberger, pretty much. And Isaiah Pacheco was a 7th round rookie. Jerick McKinnon was 30 years old and left for dead. Like, my glasses are fogging up because the light's so hot. But man, I just can't really find anything that people don't know. Like they went out and got Justin Reid from the Texans, which was kind of brilliant. Everybody was like, "Oh, you lost Tyrann Mathieu." Yeah, Justin Reid, pretty good, and he's younger. Like, it's just insane how strong this team is because they basically brought everybody back, and all these rookies are a year older and going into their prime. You stole Kadarius Toney, basically, who's like an elite receiver. He's not healthy a lot, but you only really need him in the playoffs. You're going to win by yourself anyways. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just jump into it, do what I normally do, and then there's not. I'm trying to. The big thing about why I had to put the Saints in here is that I couldn't build an argument for them not to be here. They're really, really good everywhere. Everybody's like, well, Chris Jones is holding out. Chris Jones is only going to hold out until week 8. Because if he doesn't come on week 8, he can't go to free agency. So he has to play at some point. So it's almost like, sure, don't come to week 8 and don't worry about, you might get hurt. We'd rather you just be good for the playoffs. I don't know. From Mahomes, he'd probably just take him to the playoffs by himself. So let's go. Let's do what we'd always do. So PFF has them as the 3rd best O-line. Even I think that's high. I think they have a good O-line. 3rd best is pretty high. They lost Orlando Brown. I mean, they brought in we'll get in that later. They brought in Donovan Smith, who won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. But okay, sure. 3rd best O-line. They have the 7th best secondary and the 13th best D-line. That's an eyebrow raise. I mean, you probably have the best defensive tackle in football, and you're the 13th best defensive line. All right. Sounds good. Whatever. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, they have a great secondary. Then they just nailed their draft pick with Trent McDuffie. He was excellent last year, 22 years old. Excellent job getting Justin Reid. He was great. You hit on your safety, Brian Cook. And you got him in the 2nd round last year. They just like nailed all these draft picks. Like it's one thing to like hit to get maybe the greatest quarterback to ever live and maybe the best tight end to ever live. He probably isn't going to go down the best tight end every year that's ever lived, but probably top 5. Definitely the best in the league right now. And you just hit on all these draft picks. You hit on your Your defensive end, they got 7 sacks last year. You hit on Trick McDuffie, who will probably be the best cornerback in the league in 2 or 3 years. You hit on your safety. You hit on your running back in the 7th round. And I'm not a huge Sky Moore fan, but apparently he's looked really, really great in camp. And he's going to be their number 1, even though Kadarius Toney is there. I mean, Chiefs, man, they're just so good. So, yeah, you probably get the best coach in football, best quarterback in football, best tight end in football. You draft better than anybody else in football, best defensive tackle in football. What can you really say? I mean, Willie Gay is an excellent linebacker. They're so good. The 3rd best offensive line in the league. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't build an argument against them. So let's go to last year's schedule. So they go to Cardinals. They win. I think I missed the last number. Oh, yeah, it was a 44-21. They beat the Chargers 27-24. They lose at Indy, which was a shocker. Frank Reich's Indianapolis Colts. They lost to them 20-17. They won at the Bucs 41-21. They won at home against the Raiders 30-29. They lost to the Bills. I think Mahomes threw an interception like very into the game there. They lost 24-20. They beat San Francisco at San Francisco 44-23. They beat the Titans 20-17. They beat the Jags 27-17. They won at Chargers 30-27. They won at home against the Rams 26-10. They lost at Cincy 27-24. They won at Denver 34-28. They won at Houston 30-24. They won at home against Seattle 24-10. They won at home against Denver 27-24, and they won against Vegas 31-13. So yeah, I mean they went 14-3 last year, and I got them doing it again this year. So I'll just go right into it. I'll go into this year. So they start off at Thursday Night Football against Detroit. That's just be too big for Detroit. Primetime game, first game of the season. They got new receivers starting for them. They got new backs, starting a rookie tight end, a rookie running back. Moment's gonna be too big for them, I believe, and it's in Arrowhead. So I got them as a win for the Chiefs. Then they have 10 days for Jacksonville at Jacksonville. I would probably maybe give Jacksonville a shot, but you beat them last year, and then you get them after 10 days rest. That's basically like a bye for Andy Reid, and Andy Reid's excellent off bye. Then you win again at home against Chicago. You go to Jets and win. I just think it's going to take them longer than 4 weeks to get it together. It's just integrating a new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. I just think it's against the Chiefs. I think that's just going to be a little tough for them. So I have that as a win for the Chiefs. At Minnesota, I have a win. They don't have a defense that can stop you. Thursday night, Denver was really close twice last year, and Thursday night games are always a little iffy and weird. So I have that as Denver winning that game, just because I think they got to get you. I think the Chiefs are like 15 straight games against Denver or something like that. I think they really get up for it just on a short week. Short week games are always odd, especially divisional games. So I have Denver winning that game. That's your first loss. But then you get 10 days. You get Chargers at home, so basically a bye for Andy Reid. Andy Reid's good off buys. Win. You get Denver at Denver. You win that because Denver's not going to beat you twice. You get Miami at home. If it was away, maybe I would change that. But since it's at home, I got it as a win for you. You go on bye. And then you get Philly off a bye at home. The fact that it's off a bye, Andy Reid off a bye, and it's at home, I got you winning that game against Philly. Usually I would give Philly the edge because it's like kind of a revenge game. But because Philly like complained about turf and all that kind of stuff, and they were kind of bad losers, I think Chiefs show up for that game. You go to Vegas. I think that's a win. At Green Bay, I think it's a win. Buffalo always gets up for you. Always, 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 always. It's like their Super Bowl. I think you lose to Buffalo. Then you have to go to New England. I have that as a loss because I think New England's going to play very, very well this year. And I think that Belichick's got a pretty good idea how to scheme, at least to stay in the game. And you guys haven't really, when I say you guys, I mean the Chiefs haven't really seen a lot of Bill O'Brien in the last few years. So I think the New England gets you there. Uh, you're at home to Vegas. You win that. Cincy is at home, and I think that you have to. I have you having to win this game because the Steelers are right there, and you need to win these last two to secure number one seed, which you basically did last year. Cincy and Buffalo were right on your heels, and you won five straight. So I have you winning at home against Cincy because you beat them last year. You kind of figured out how to beat them, and they lost both their safeties. So I think that they don't keep things underneath, and you can beat them long, and that's kind of just how Mahomes gets you. And then you're at Chargers, and I have that as a win. So I got you 14-3 again. So, just how it is. You're going to keep owning the league. You're the new Patriots. So, I mean, I don't. There's not a lot to like talk about here. I mean, let's say you lose the enemy, but you have Nagy. Nagy was your offensive coordinator before, so he knows the system. He knows Reid. He went to the Bears and was actually pretty successful with a pretty average to below average quarterback in Trubisky. I think he made the playoffs like 2 or 3 years there. But of course, they fired him because they're the Bears and they just don't know how to be successful. So now he's back. He's your OC. That's not really going to change anything, I don't think, because Andy Reid's still calling the plays. Spagnolio's still back, so still have him. You lose Orlando Brown, but you get Donovan Smith. I think that's kind of similar. You lose Wiley, but you bring in Jawan Taylor, so that's kind of like meh. And then you lose Clark, who's getting old anyways, and you have your replacement and Karlaftis, and everybody else. I mean, you lose Saunders, but he goes to that's guy that goes to the Saints. Yeah, you guys, you're like, no, we're good. The Saints are like, oh yeah, we'll do it. We'll take him because we'll take. I don't know. I don't want to get the Saints right now. And then you lost like to Juju basically. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think you really lost a lot. You get Kadarius Toney. That's a pretty good replacement for Juju. He got a whole offseason with you. You get your second round pick is Rashee Rice. He looks excellent in preseason. Justin Ross, who was excellent with Clemson, he comes on. He looks really good in preseason. Your receivers look great. The only thing that people can even bring up, I think, is that Chris Jones contract negotiations, and I don't think they really care. I don't think they think that they're going to be that. So your first 8 games, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? You get Detroit, Jacksonville, Chicago, Jets, Minnesota. Oh, you're not afraid of any of these offensive line. I guess Detroit maybe, but you get them on a Monday night. So it's not like that they're going to push you around. Denver, Chargers, like none of those offensive lines scare you. Offensive lines scare you. So I don't think it really matters as long as you get them by week 8 when you start playing guys like Buffalo, Philly, Green Bay, Cincinnati, New England. Those are the offensive lines that you have a problem with. So if he's there for those, like, then your draft, I have no idea if they're going to be good or not, except for Rashee Rice, but I just told you he looks excellent as wide receiver. You get into defensive end, and I'm not even going to try to say his name, Felix something, but you hit on Karlaftis. Maybe you hit on him too. You have 2 excellent pass rushers on the rookie deals because you're an excellent drafting team. And you got an offensive tackle in the 3rd round who might can take over for Donovan Smith once he retires because he's 30. So say he sits behind him for a year or 2. Yeah, I don't see a hole, man. Yeah, you got Donna had, I think, 5 sacks last year. Karlaftis had 6. Chris Jones had 17, I think. I think they had 55 total sacks last year, which was number 2. I believe I saw that. Willie Gay looks excellent. He's 25. So does Bolton. They both look really, really good. McDuffie, like I just said, is excellent. Jadarius Steed is excellent. I mean, they rank you the 7th best secondary. There's not a hole. I mean, I guess you can say that Pacheco doesn't catch passes well, but I bet he does this year because he probably worked on all season. There's nothing I can tell you. I looked everywhere I could to find like a hole or something. What if? No, they just continue to become first or second in the AFC. They host the they host the AFC Championship game 5 years in a row. Andy Reid literally hasn't had a losing record. His worst record since he's been at Kansas City is 9-7. Every other year it's been 10 plus. He had 10-6. And it's 14, 12, 14, 12, 12, 12, 11. 12. Like, it's just like, it's just like a well-oiled machine. I don't know, man. I don't want to like beat a dead horse. I really tried to be interesting and find something that other people aren't saying. But I think that I think they're going to be 14-3, and I think they have the number one seed, and I think they probably go to the Super Bowl. And I still haven't decided. I think I'm still going to have Dallas winning the Super Bowl just because I like that matchup as far as getting to the quarterback, because that's how you got to beat great quarterbacks. You just got to, like what we talked about last episode, right? We talked about you have to have Strahan, Tuck. You have to have Rice. You have to have those guys. You have to have the Suggs, Reid, Ray Lewis, and I think the Cowboys have that. And I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. But for right now, until someone knocks them off, Chiefs are number one, and they should be number one in everybody's power rankings. I mean, even if they start off 2-4, they should be number one. We've seen it too often. Don't get cute, you know. Even though I guess I'm getting cute with them losing the Super Bowl, but whatever. By the time I pick my final picks, I probably have them winning, just because because I'm weak, I guess. But it was so fun, man. 32 in 32. Thank you so much if you followed along and did the whole 32. I know that's a lot, so probably not. But if you did like half, that's amazing too. If you did one, that's amazing. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this. And I really am excited about it. And I already have things that I did wrong. So in my final rankings, I had the Giants way too low. I had the Jags too low. I probably had the Jets too high. Yeah, I gotta fix some stuff in my rankings, but for now, it's pretty set. I think for the most part, I like almost everything. Yeah, I think the Giants are going to take a huge leap for me, and the Patriots will take a huge leap, and the Jags. But other than that, I'm pretty comfortable with almost everything I said. So thanks, y'all. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. I'm very happy to have my time back. But I hope you enjoyed, and see you next year for the 32 and 32. All right, bye now. Bye.